What's up, Giants fans? In today's show, we're going to break down the top free agents the New York Football Giants could sign as the NFL trade deadline has come and gone without the Giants making a move. They did just sign Isaiah Hodgins at the wide receiver spot, but he was a waiver claim. We're talking free agents and the big dogs, so let's get to it. And the number one guy, everybody knows who it is, Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ is a free agent, and the Giants have been in talks with him. Odell Beckham came to the facility, checked on Sterling Shepard. Joe Shane talked about him in his media availability following the trade deadline. He went on the Tiki and Tyranny show today, talked a little bit more about Odell Beckham, and he said, we are interested in players that are good and healthy. What's Odell Beckham? If he's good, if he's healthy, he's good. Check, check. Odell Beckham last year with the Los Angeles Rams in 12 games was an elite wide receiver, 48 receptions, 593 yards, and 7 touchdowns. If you watch the Rams this year, they drastically miss number 3 on the outside. Their offense is not even close to the same it is that it usually is, and especially with Odell Beckham on this team. I think it is noteworthy, though, to add that Odell Beckham won't be healthy until late November or early December, and he wanted a big deal. And look, Giants don't have that. I don't think Odell Beckham's going to sign a multi-year contract in NFL free agency this season. I think he signs a 1-year deal, and then he goes into free agency again in the spring. Look, he's not going to be ready till about week 12, week 13, week 14. Would he sign for the minimum? Would he come back to New York and sign for the minimum? If he could, the Giants could afford him. I think that's a legit possibility. And with this Giants wide receiver core, they could use a guy like Odell Beckham Jr., Marcus Johnson, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, David Sills. Kenny Golladay is expected to come back following the bye week and play against the Houston Texans. Richie James, I want him off my football team after those 2 fumbles, but it sounds like that's not going to happen. They also just signed Isaiah Hodgins. So the Giants currently have 7 wide receivers, but none of them are nearly the type of player that Odell Beckham Jr. is. So I want to ask you guys this question right now. Do you want to sign Odell Beckham back to the New York Football Giants? Type OBJ for yes or no BJ for no. What about defensive linemen? With the Giants having some injuries on the defensive line, could they look to go to free agency and sign a defensive lineman? Joe Shane said in his media availability following the NFL trade deadline that they weren't just looking to trade for wide receivers. And I think the spot that they could use some help is the defensive line, especially with the injuries that have kind of piled up there recently. Ndamukong Suh is one of the best in the business. I mean, look at his stats. 6 sacks, 2.5, 4.5. This is a guy that in a Wink Martindale system could be an absolute game changer and a game record. It is surprising that Ndamukong Suh is unsigned. He reportedly wanted $9 million per year at the start of the year, but with half the year already gone, he's not going to get that. There's no way in hell that he even gets even remotely close to that. Would he sign for the minimum? I don't know. That's kind of where the Giants are balancing right now. They only really have veteran minimum contracts to hand out. And when you look at this Giants defensive line depth chart with Nick Williams just getting hurt, DJ Davidson hurt, Ellerson Smith just coming back, Kayvon Thibodeau is back, Azeez Ojulari hurt, there's a spot for Ndamukong Suh on this team. It just comes down to the money. That's what it comes down to. Would Ndamukong Suh come back and play for the minimum? I want to ask you guys this question, though, as we get to 8 more free agents I think the Giants could look at in NFL free agency. I want you guys to name a free agent you want the Giants to sign. Go down in the comment section, be loud, stand up. Let me know a guy that you want the Giants to sign. Sidney Jones, the cornerback formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, was recently released, and now he is a free agent. He is free to sign wherever he wants. Sidney Jones is a good cornerback in the National Football League. If you look at his 2021 stats, he only allowed a completion percentage of 61, only 419 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't have an interception, but he had 10 pass breakups. This is a guy that has legit corner skills, and even though the Giants' cornerback spot has been good, they're a little bit banged up with that Aaron Robinson injury. Maybe they could look to the free agency cornerback spot if they wanted to add some depth behind Fabian Moreau and Adoree Jackson and Darnay Holmes. What about Will Fuller, the wide receiver, the speedster, formerly of the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins? There were some rumors that Will Fuller retired. Total cap. Will Fuller is still a part of the National Football League, and he is a guy that wants to get back into the NFL. Last year, only played in like a game with the Miami Dolphins, had 4 receptions for 26 yards. But if you go back to what he did with the Houston Texans before he signed that deal with the Dolphins, 8 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. This is a guy on the outside that safeties have to account for. He has great speed. He puts pressures on the safeties. If he's willing to come for a cheap amount of money, this is a guy that I would definitely be interested if I'm Joe Schoen. I do want to give you guys the lowdown in the 411 on our brand new sponsor we have here on Giants Now and Chat Sports, and that is Established Titles. Shout out to Established Titles. They are a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on an historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies. They're calling me Lord Marshy these days because I got hooked up with Established Titles. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Scotland and an official certificate with a crest. Here's mine. They're calling me Lord Marshy, and you could put this type of stuff, Lord or Lady, on your credit card, plane ticket, dating profile. It ain't a hoax. It's the real deal, Holyfield. And the best part about it is the first 200 people purchasing a title pack with my link of EstablishedTitles.com/chat. The first 200 people that use my link, EstablishedTitles.com/chat, your tree will be planted right next to mine. We can make a whole real one Giants Now little section over in Scotland. Get started today and save an extra 10%. It's a perfect holiday gift. It's a great last-minute gift. Established Titles is doing amazing things. Get started today. Become a lord, become a lady, plant a tree in Scotland, and be a real one. Go to EstablishedTitles.com/chat. What about another wide receiver? A guy that's a veteran and probably one of the more accomplished wide receivers left in free agency, and that's T.Y. Hilton. Look, his time ran out with the Indianapolis Colts, but T.Y. Hilton is still a good football player. Go back to 2021, 23 receptions for 331 yards and 3 TDs. But before that, 93 targets, 56 receptions, 1,762 yards, 5 TDs. This is a guy that can just get it done. He's smart. He can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. And he's definitely a guy that can stretch the field. If T.Y. Hilton is still interested in playing football and he wants to play for a contender, the Giants would be an elite landing spot. What about Malik Turner, another wide receiver? The Giants, as we all know, need a wide receiver. And Malik Turner could be a guy that they look to go and target. Spent some time with the Dallas Cowboys last year. You know how it works. You play in the NFC East. Everyone else across the NFC East is able to get some good studying on you and, scout you and figure out the type of player you are. Had 12 receptions for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's not an elite player, but he probably fits the price range that the Giants are going to be shopping in. Maybe Malik Turner is a guy the Giants could look to sign in NFL free agency. I'll let you know this much, though. If the Giants sign anyone the rest of the way, we're going to be breaking it down on this channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. Giants breaking news, rumors, trade deadline moves, and more. Hit that sub button. Help Giants Now get to 20,000 subscribers. The Giants, their rookie offensive tackle Evan Neal, suffered an MCL sprain. So what about a potential veteran to come help out on the offensive line? Eric Fisher. At one point he was one of the best tackles in the NFL. Former number 1 overall pick, I'm pretty sure Eric Fisher was. A guy that in 2021 played 874 snaps, allowed just 7 sacks, 11 QB hits, 23 QB hurries, had a PFF run grade of 73.3. And with Evan Neal hurt, maybe the Giants could look to the free agent market to help him out in this area on the offensive line depth chart. We know Andrew Thomas, one of the best in the business. Ben Bredesen is currently on injured reserve. John Feliciano has been pretty good. Mark Lewinsky's been okay. Evan Neal has been replaced by Phillips. I would like to see Devery Hamilton play a little bit more at right tackle spot with Nick Gates now off of the PUP list. Maybe they move him around on the offensive line. I don't think the Giants would go out and sign Eric Fisher, but he is the best available offensive tackle. What about Dont'a Hightower? As we know, the Giants have been somewhat weak at the inside linebacker spot, And adding a veteran like Hightower would definitely beef up this Giants inside linebacker depth chart. I mean, the two starting guys right now are Jalen Smith and Tay Crowder. I like those two guys, but I don't think either of them are starting inside linebacker material in 2022. I would like to see Landon Collins get a little bit more snaps. What about another linebacker, though? Anthony Hitchens, a guy that, just like Hightower, is an experienced guy. And let's compare Hightower and Hitchens. The last time they played a full season in 2021, Hitchens had 80 tackles, Hightower had 64, 4 tackles for loss for Hitchens, 1 tackle for loss for Hightower. Hightower's a little bit of a better of a blitzer, which I think fits the Wink Martindale system a little bit more. He had 1.5 sacks. Look, neither of these guys are the playmakers that they once were, but they're still good football players. And I think they would definitely help this linebacker depth chart. So I want one of you guys, to pick a linebacker to sign for the New York Football Giants. Type D for Dante Hightower. Type A for Anthony Hitchens. Another veteran corner we'll talk about, and this will be the last free agent we talk about in this video today, A.J. Bouye, a guy that was once an elite cornerback, not that guy anymore. Kind of showed you the type of player he was in 2021. 72% completion percentage allowed, 298 yards. Didn't allow a touchdown, no INTs, 3 pass breakups. We know the Giants' cornerback depth chart has been better than what a lot of people expected. Fabian Moreau is the Giants' cornerback 2 right now. Adoree Jackson, quarterback 1. Aaron Robinson is hurt. So there's definitely an opportunity for the Giants to potentially add to this spot. Look, are the Giants going to sign someone? If the price is right, I think they would. But I don't think they're going to overspend. I don't think they're going to mortgage the future to do any of that. So, look, I want to just go through the top 10 free agents that I thought were left on the market because, look, we're in a bye week, and I think the Giants could look to add to their roster this week. I appreciate everyone, as always, that makes Giants Now part of their day. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead, comment a real one right now.